beard, mashallah. With no further ado, let's have a look.
And you're back now. You're feeling abandoned. You're feeling lost. You're still now sort of at the prime mentally with this hatred, this dehumanization. Now, was there an influx of Muslim refugees or people coming into Muncie? Is that, or was there always a community there?
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. There always was a community there. They never stood out to me really. With Muncie, you know, it had been a mailing address for many years, really, more than anything, because I had broken time. I had 2 years between the Marine Corps and the Army, where I tried to be a civilian. That was a bad idea. I'm lucky I made it out alive. But I joined the Army, and I had already came to Muncie. I came to Muncie to fight. I was trying to make it as a kickboxer, and then I slowly got into the cage. And, you know, because of drinking and womanizing, that never panned out. I ruined myself. You know, I was good. Man, I don't know if I was UFC good, but I was good.
I get it. You
know, and, but yeah, so I killed myself that way. I lost that window. So I went into the Army. And they were more than happy to take me in. Took me in, and you know, they was like, I got, you know, hooked up with a really high speed unit, and you know, became an operator again, and man, it was off to the races. Did some great things, man, some fun things. You know, it was hunting down war criminals in Bosnia in 04, right, and Afghanistan and in Iraq, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. But you know, now it's all gone, man, and it's like, I have nothing, you know. I got money at the time. I had plenty of money, actually, you know, and so I didn't really need to do anything. So I have all this time to think now about all these people who ruined my life, ruined my destiny, stole it from me. Bam. I got some Muslims right here. I can take care of them. Do one last thing for my country. Make that stand. That we are not going to take it anymore.
I like this podcast format much better than the previous interview. It's much more real.
So I took my time. I devised a plan. It's over the course of probably a couple of years, you know.
Oh.
What was the plan?
To put a bomb together, simple bomb, and do my best to level the Islamic Center. When I first looked at
but here they're going to say the Muslims are the terrorists that bomb everybody. Eh?
They didn't have the location they have now. They were actually in a house that was right off of campus, and it was in a residential area. Wow, so I slowly kept with the process of putting a bomb together, but waited because I didn't like that idea because there was too many Americans around.
Right.
I didn't really want to hurt the Americans, right? Not that almost everybody inside the Islamic Center was actually an American. Yeah. So I backed off a little bit. Then they moved, and they kind of got this out of the way building. You know, it was still close to some other, and I knew there would be some residual harm that was going to happen, but I think it would be minimal. I tried my best to, as best I could, in the knowledge I had about explosives, to make this so it had as little impact on these other people as possible. And it just went into motion, full gear. And I was ready to just, all I had to do was, my plan was on a Thursday night, late night. I had a place for it. I already did that recon, and I was just going to set it down and wait for them to have their service the next day in the afternoon. Sit across over at that bank.
At Friday prayer. Wow, man.
Do you remember exactly where you were when you got that impulse, when you got that idea? Do you remember how it started? I mean, was there a process that went from sort of an idea into I'm actually going to execute this? And
honestly, I don't think so. I think it was just, this is what I'm doing. I mean, you know, okay. Good idea. Let's do this. You know, kind of like when you're at the supermarket and you're checking out and you see, oh man, I really want that Twix bar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No big deal.
It was that simple.
Yeah. And that's
didn't mean anything to him.
A lot of my shame comes into being. It's not the act itself, it's what went behind it that made it so this is what
Easy.
I do, you know?
Yeah.
Why did
I
you?
was never in the army, so therefore I had no military training, but I remember clearly when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, so this is already a long time ago, I was dreaming about bombing mosques myself. It's really no joke. I had those thoughts as a teenager. Looking at the mosques in Macedonia, I thought they are foreign entities trying to take over our country. I didn't know that the Adhan was in Arabic. I thought it's in Albanian. I really believed the Albanians set up their bases. I didn't even associate God with those mosques. And now they're gonna take over our country. Everybody will talk Albanian and they're gonna get rid of us. They want to kill us. So for me, the only option was to bomb all those mosques. This was what I perceived as the enemy. Of course, such thoughts, such reactions come from a deep state of ignorance and arrogance.
At them as the cause of you being in the situation that you were in.
Exactly.
I think it just had to do with my own personal experience with being overseas and fighting these Muslims, right? Having them try to kill me, you know.
I didn't even have that.
It just turned me against the whole group. It's like, yeah, so one tries to kill me, they all want to kill me. You know, is that mindset? Mm-hmm. So it's it's the basic premise of how prejudice builds, right?
Of course.
You know, we see the actions of this one person because of the color of their skin or where they come from. They're all like that, right? And it just kept building, and they're all evil, every one of them, even the babies.
Did you have experiences overseas where you were fighting alongside of Muslims, or you saw something that you respect, or did you have any experience before what we're going to eventually get to? You saw beauty within the Muslim faith?
Not the faith necessarily,
or the people?
You should tell the story about that woman.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's why I looked at you first. He normally does not like me to tell the story, but it's my explanation on where my hatred was.
Please. Yeah, no, I think it's important.
In Bosnia. So our main mission was there to go get war criminals, put a hold on to them until somebody came and got them and transported them to The Hague.
Which
right?
war criminals?
Okay.
The Serbians?
So like Milosevic, Karadzic, and all those guys, right? We never did get those. We actually ended up capturing a couple Al-Qaeda guys. Because Bosnia happened at, I don't know if it still is, but it was an Al-Qaeda training ground. A lot of people didn't even know that. Yeah. It was hidden away. So anyway, I had this interpreter. But since 24/7, we're not hunting down war criminals, you know, we have other stuff we need to do. So my colonel decided, hey, Mac, he said, you're a charismatic guy. I'm going to send you on some PR duty. You're gonna give radio interviews. I was like, all right. So I'd go to these radio stations in Bosnia. Yeah. Well, I had to have an interpreter, right?
Yeah.
So it was a female, 20-something, right, Bosnian. And she ended up being actually my team's interpreter, and sweet girl, very pretty, but very very European. And when I say that, it's not. It sounds like I'm being judgy, and I'm really trying not to. I'm just trying to put it into a frame of mind where a lot of your European Muslims are not as orthodox as, say, like Afghan Muslims.
Sure.
You know, or
I can totally relate, man. Bosnians are basically my ethnic group. I know nowadays nationalists don't want to hear that, but Bosnians, Serbians, Croatians, Bulgarians, Macedonians, it is essentially one people. Of course, you have slight differences, but it's like saying there is a slight difference between Dutch people and German people. Essentially, they stem from the same ethnic group. Moreover, they of course have the same cultural background, especially the Slavs. And therefore, yes, you do have Muslim Slavs, such as the Bosnians, but generally speaking there is no big difference. And therefore, for the biased mind thinking about Muslim, you think about an Arab, you think about an Afghan, you think about a Pakistani. You're not thinking about a European Slav being a Muslim, and this is why I'm sure he could relate to them much easier.
Or Saudi Muslims or something like that. They're a lot more just carefree, okay, about things. And that is in no way a judgment. It's just trying to give an explanation.
Understood.
You have to generalize.
She didn't wear her job. She went out. She dated guys, and her family was more orthodox than she was. We actually, she took my team to her house, and we met her family. Wonderful people. Now I'm saying this. Remember that. And this girl, we had so much respect for her. She took care of us. And we took care of her to put it into a frame of mind within Bosnia. And this is what caused such a problem for when they had the civil war and stuff, where there's Serbian villages within Bosnia.
Yep.
Okay. And we went into one of the Serbian villages to try to get some information. I sat down and met with the police chief there, and my interpreter's here. He's Serbian, she's Bosnian. Of course, I didn't know exactly what they were saying, but his tone and her reaction told me that he was not being very nice.
Right, something was up.
I got up, pulled out my M4, pulled it up, said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, you shut the hell up. Just
you
like
could tell him that. And then
because, because I was like, she's with me.
She's with you, yeah.
Right? Now, I like her, but I hate her, right? But she's with me, I'm taking care of her, okay? Plus, I know without her, I'm probably not going to get out of town. And my friends asked me, we were sitting in the chow hall one day, and some friends I was with, we were sitting there eating, and we started talking about how much I hated Muslims, because these are part of the group that's like, dude, you need to chill. They said, well, what about Sarah, man? You like Sarah? I said, dude, I do, man. She's great. I said, man, I do just about anything for her, but there's going to come a time when she got to go. So what do you mean? She's Muslim, dude. She got to go. I said, but because I do like her and I do respect her, I said, I hope I'm the one that's there to do it.
Wow.
Because I'll just put a 9 to the base of her skull and she'll go quick and painless.
Wow.
But she still got to go.
Wow.
That's hatred.
And he didn't even know why.
I mean, that you can't get any better explanation on the hatred that I felt in that way.
Yeah.
To actually
It's
have
irrational.
a desire to take the life of someone that I like. That's been good to me. That's hatred.
Sure.
I wrestle with that sometimes because that's evil, man.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of evil, and I can't. I don't know. I don't know.
This moderator seems familiar. Is he an actor? I don't know who he is.
Anyway, where were we at?
Alright guys, and this is already it for today's video. Unfortunately, cuts off there. I would have loved to see the whole interview. Nevertheless, this is where it ends, and it shows clearly a side that we didn't see in the first interview with Richard. It put into perspective how much hate he had for the Muslims, but it was irrational hate, of course. What was it founded upon? Because he was fighting some Muslims. When he was in Bosnia, he was clearly persecuting the Serbians, which are the Christians. So he wasn't even in Bosnia to fight Muslims. There you can see how irrational his hatred was. And this is why I believe that hate comes directly from the devil. In many instances, it's not rational. Matter of fact, when you try to analyze, try to understand, you won't even find an answer for it. As he just said, I like her, so I should probably shoot her. It's absolutely abhorrent, but coming from the Balkan, I can relate to that. We grow up with that hatred on both sides. The Albanians are taught that we are the enemies. We are being taught that the Albanians are the enemies, and like that you're fueling the fire. It is an absolute mess, of course. Ultimately divide and conquer. I said it multiple times before. To me personally, it's absolutely frustrating, because if I look at those Slavic countries, those South Slavic countries, I see one people. That is me personally. Of course, the Yugoslavian project has failed utterly, but nevertheless, if I compare it to Germany or to France, just geographically, size-wise, you will see that we are, of course, one people. Unfortunately, there's so many different narratives, different religions, and like that we are separated. Ultimately, it's always us against them. And this is why it took me so long to even consider looking into Islam. To this very day, I'm letting go of those biases. Somewhere back in my mind, it is still there. It is their religion, religion, not ours. And this is why, thank God, I was able to travel the world. Whilst traveling the world, I saw, no, it's not just their religion. Look at this. Indonesian people are Muslim. Thai people are Muslim. Malaysian people are Muslim. Moreover, even Russian people or Balkan Slavs are Muslim. Now you see Islam spreading everywhere. Especially in the past year, it was absolutely mind-blowing to see how many new reverts we had. So for me, it has been a slow unwinding of all of those false biases to finally realize, no, it's not an ethnicity. No, it's not their religion. Islam truly came for everyone. Alright guys, but this is it for today's video. If you like it, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, guys, please do so. And if you want to support this channel, all the links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, guys. As always, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.